Is there a strategy that'll help you grow your company faster? CEO Sales Strategies is an investigative business podcast for entrepreneurial people who never stop asking questions. Highly acclaimed sales revenue growth expert Doug C. Brown interviews CEOs, business owners, and professionals who serve them to uncover and share actionable tips and methods behind their bulletproof sales strategies. Topics covered on the show include their failures, struggles, secrets, and processes that help them succeed in selling millions to billions of dollars of their products and services, all with the sole aim of helping you grow your business. If you are eager to know the most effective sales secrets from the A players of the game, then the CEO Sales Strategies podcast is certainly the place to be.
Hey everyone, this is Doug C. Brown coming to you from my vacation spot here in New Hampshire today. I got a great guest. I've been waiting to talk with this gentleman on the podcast for a long time. Brian and I have known each other for a while. Brian Scudamore. He owns a company called O2E Brands, which he owns three different opportunities under. One is called 1-800-GOT-JUNK, which a lot of people in North America would recognize. The other is called Wow One Day Painting. Really cool concept. They come in, they paint your whole house or building or whatever in one day. They're in and out. The third one's called Shine Shack, which is really a cool way of power washing and beautifying everything all around. I'm giving the plugs because I'm actually a client of theirs as well. And so anyways, it's a really great episode and I want you to pay attention. We talk a lot about different things, but one of the things that's massively important now is what's the shift that just happened and how do you capitalize on the shift? The shift, I mean, okay, the economy's changed, the pandemic's here still, all of these things. So what's the thing that you need to focus on in order to take yourself out of there? And, what is the sales strategy that he used, going from basically dropping out of high school, then dropping out of college and starting a company and building it up to over $500 million a year in revenue, and being a really great guy through this whole process and taking care of people and doing things right. It's all about win-win play is what he has. So it's win-win selling, win-win communications, everything. He throws a couple of great nuggets in there for you. And so without further ado, let's go to Brian Scudamore and we'll see you back at the after the interview. Hey, Brian, welcome to the call.
Hey, Doug, thanks for having me.
Brian, I'm so happy to have you here because we've had so many conversations in the past. For those people who don't know, Brian and I know each other a bit. And we've done things together like articles and conversations. And so I'm really excited to have you here. You're the real deal. You're the quintessential, I started out with almost nothing but an idea and built yourself into what over $500 million in revenue, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, you're right.
So what I really love about you and I've always have appreciated about you is your business runs what I preach, which is, win-win selling or win-win communication, right? They win, you win. If it's not the right deal, you disengaging will walk from it right out of the gate. And I remember us talking about, I was like, man, I love your 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I love the, all three brands you have, the Shine Shack, the One Day Painting, the Wow, right? Painting. And I'm like, Brian, hey, maybe I could do a franchise with you or something like that. And you said, well, you're going to be owner occupied. And I said, no, I'm just going to invest. And you're like, Doug, we can't do that. Right? Yeah. And that's win-win, because what you're telling me in that statement is, Doug, look, it doesn't work well for an outside investor's model. It works great if you are the owner operator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about focus. If you found the right investor, I'm making this up, but you've got a nephew, great business mind, loves to sell, loves to get out there and market, and you say, hey, going to bring you into the business. I'm going to be the money, but you're running it. You are leading and growing an empire. Then that works. There's no problem there. But we need to know that we've got someone on the ground, feet on the streets, pouring all their love and energy into building a great business. And so if you pick something like Wow One Day Painting, we're not looking for painters. We're looking for a business owner who is going to build, lead, and grow a special empire. And we want people that are focused on this, that aren't doing a second job, that don't have additional investments, that take their time. And we've learned from experience that that's what works for us.
So you developed this brand called O2E Brands, right? And I never asked you this question. And for those of you who are listening, like Doug, get to the sales strategies, it's coming. But I always wanted to ask you, why O2E Brands? Like, what was the genesis and reason for so?
Yeah, our CFO came to me one day and said, I know we've set up a parent company for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and we had just added Wow One Day Painting as a second brand. And he said, what are we going to call the holding company? We've got a numbered company. And I thought for about 3 seconds. I said, let's call it O2E, because that's who we are. And what O2E stood for is ordinary to exceptional. So I said to Brian, our CFO at the time, I said, everything we do, we take ordinary people like me, started with a $700 investment, beat up old pickup truck, just an ordinary guy, a high school and college dropout. And we've built an exceptional $500 million brand or group of brands. Everything we do, we take the ordinary business of junk removal and make it exceptional. So O2E, that's the brand, and that's the parent company, almost a recruiting brand for all of our brands. So very quickly, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Wow One Day Painting, where we paint people's homes in a day, and then Shack Shine, which is windows, gutters, power washing, and Christmas lights.
So for those of you who are sitting there going, where's the strategy? Let me tell you, win-win selling, number one, O2E, number two, because here's the bottom line. When we go from ordinary to extraordinary, we're over delivering. And when we're over delivering, we're giving more value, I should say, value exchange in return. And I know because I hired one of your franchisees to come to my house and take things out, and they were so professional. It was so easy. And I was like, man, that's what got me to think, well, maybe I want to have a franchise with you, right? Because it was such a great experience, and they over delivered on the experience, on the value. And I was like, felt fine. If they had asked me for more money, I would have given it to them at that point. So you mentioned your story, so I'm going to take people through a little bit. Born in 1970 in San Francisco, if I remember correctly. You didn't really do all that well in grade school, like a lot of us entrepreneurs.
Terrible. I did terrible.
But you were able to sell your way into, I think it was Concordia College, if I remember correctly. Concordia College had a business major. And despite the fact that you didn't do as well in academia early on, you were able to convince somebody to let you into this college program. And that's pretty admirable, really, when it comes from a sales point. That's a really hard sale. I don't have a degree. I don't have a diploma or whatever it might have been. And I want to go to college.
I didn't have a high school diploma, and I talked my way into college. And I said, and it took 3 tries to make it happen, but I said, I can do this. I can do college without a high school diploma. I'm smart enough. I know how to work hard. And I had to find the money to pay for it, which meant starting my own business, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and hauling junk with that beat up old $700 pickup truck. My parents were not going to give me college money, given that I didn't finish high school. And they were smart, because I didn't actually finish college. I talked my way in. I moved colleges. I moved around. I'm very ADD. And eventually I said, I am running this business that's fulfilling me. I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm learning a ton, more learning about business running one than studying in school. So I made the decision to drop out. So 14 schools from kindergarten to college. And the only diploma I have still to this day is kindergarten.
That's awesome. It's a wonderful story, because I remember you were in a McDonald's parking lot, you said, and you saw this junk truck thing going on, or some junk. And that's where you got the inspiration for 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
There was a pickup truck in front of me. It said Mark's Hauling, and it was filled with junk. It was just a beat up pickup truck. And I was like, wow, I can do that. Instead of getting a job, I can create my own. And I started going through the classifieds. I found a truck, and a week later I bought my F100, and off I went. Built up the plywood sides, spray painted 738 junk, which was the phone number at the time before we became 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And I had a business, and a business that cost me less than $1,000 that more than paid for itself within 2 weeks, then started to pay for college. And it was a lot of fun. It was an impossible challenge. I've always believed that quote, Walt Disney, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. This was an impossible challenge that I was up for. And I paid for my education, but then I learned so much that I dropped out, and here we are today.
And through when I look back through your history, and this is the theme, you're constantly playing win-win selling. And you had this idea for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, but I believe there was a utility commission or something that owned the phone number at that time, right?
Yeah.
But you were able to sell your way into getting them to release the phone number for you.
Yeah, it was the Department of Transportation in Idaho. They owned the phone number. I was so committed to this 1-800-GOT-JUNK idea that I designed the logo. I had a design firm that I paid to create the logo for 1-800-GOT-JUNK exactly as you see it today. And I was like, okay, well, I need this phone number. And I kept calling the telephone company or the telephone room of the Department of Transportation, just saying, I really need this number. It's important to me. And Michael in the phone room just one day said, okay, you've called me so many times. Maybe he wanted me off his back, but he gave me the number, and the rest is history. And the point of that is, if you truly believe in an idea, it's not selling in a pushy way, but it's helping to show someone the possibility that you see and why it's important, how they might be able to help. And so we talk about, you say win-win selling. The hat that I'm wearing right now, bigger and better together. That's one of our slogans. To me, win-win is not that the franchisor, us, is happy and making money and having a great business, and not just that the franchise partner is happy and making money, but both of us. We have to win together. We are only bigger and better if we are together. If our franchise partners fail in volume, so do we. They need to be successful. We need to be successful. That's the ultimate win. So whenever anyone as a leader can try and get people on their team, their franchise owners or their employees, aligned with common goals, they're not always going to perfectly align, but as much as you can to say, here's why we're building this. Here's what we're trying to accomplish with Wow One Day Painting. People feel part of a movement and they want to be a part of that, and we're aligned. That is win-win.
I firmly agree. And I wrote down a couple of, letters. It was, RFC and RFP, right? So right fit client, right fit partner. And that seems to me, everything I know, this is how your company's played from the beginning. And I really believe that is a success point for all companies if they play the right fit. Mm-hmm. But too many companies out there are people selling. They don't even know what that right fit client is. They don't know what that right fit partner is. So they're just out trying to sell anybody anything. Then they end up with what they call, quote, I got a bad client. No.
Might be you as a bad leader.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, 1994, 5 years into my business, I fired my entire company. Wrong fit employees. Ideally, it was the wrong fit leader. Me, as a new leader, 5 years in, I wasn't finding the right people, and I wasn't necessarily treating them right. I wasn't developing them, growing them. And I made a tough decision to pull everybody in, all 11 employees one day. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch. And I think I had 9 bad apples, but I decided the only way was to part ways with everybody and start again. And I started with 2 words. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that as your leader, I've not brought in the right people or treated you right. I didn't believe in you. You didn't believe in me. And it was a learning lesson for me to get it right next time. Understanding the right fit employee for me, and building something together with a vision and a team that was excited to be a part of our growth. I started really, really being selective, finding the right people to bring into my team. And it's made a massive difference going forward. We have 600 employees between our 2 offices today, and we're thriving because we're so careful to pick based on a cultural fit and alignment.
We're talking with Brian from O2E Brands. They own 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Wow One Day Painting, and Shine Shack, which is a pressure washing company extraordinaire, if you will. Brian, how I think what you just said was probably the most important thing that a company could take a look at today, because with the pandemic and everything that's shifted, So the reality is, how are you playing? Are you playing with ethics and integrity and the way you want to play with the right partners and the right people, or are you not? I believe that is a very, very, very strong anchor for companies going from now forward. What do you feel?
I think we have a motto at O2E Brands. It's all about people. That day when I got rid of my entire team of 11, I realized a company of men and women coming together to build something special. It's all about people. That's everything. No matter what company you are, if you're Amazon and one could say it's all about technology, well, it's technology built and led by people. Every business is about people, finding the right fit for you, your culture, and for what you believe, and people buying into that. I don't think there's anything else that's more important. We talk, there's the current talk today of the great resignation. All these employees that are leaving and moving on. They're leaving and moving on because they haven't found the right place for them. Companies need to make sure that they nurture and take care of the culture, the values that are in their business. So our values, they've never changed, they never will. 4 things: passion, integrity, professionalism, and empathy. It stands for PIPE. Passion, integrity, professionalism, and empathy. We call our people on our values and they call us on them. We hire based on values. We hold people accountable to values. If something's going wrong in the business, we can say, guys and gals, come together. Like, let's have empathy here for our franchise owners going through a hard time. Let's make sure we cut people some slack. So we use our values as a guide for what we believe in. You find the right people and treat them right, and you make sure you guide them with, or that your values almost self-guide like a self-driving car.
And your values actually in your company are to promote really how to be a real, I would say how to be a real and healthy entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that comes across, like, folks, if you have things that you need removed from your homes or your businesses or whatever, and you don't want to lug it out of there, call 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Right? Exactly. If I'm looking at a new home right now, I was thinking of you the other day, Brian, because I'm like, oh, I'm walking through these homes, like they got to get painted. And I'm like, I'm not waiting. I want a one-day painting job. So I'm going to call WOW and I'm going to get it painted. And then I was looking up in the gutters and on the driveways, and I'm like, I need pressure washing. I need Shine Shack, right? So folks, if you have any of those, go make the phone call, get on there. I will personally attest that they'll treat you amazingly well, and you'll be extremely happy. Brian, how is the sales strategy changed, or maybe it hasn't at all, from going from the early days where you were, you, and then I think your first franchisee was one of your best friends or something of that nature, if I remember, in Canada. And then you went to Portland, Oregon for the second one. How is the sales strategy changed in the company from there to now? And if so, how?
I don't think it's shifted much. I came across a mentor years ago, and we're still great friends, Jack Daly. He's known as the professional sales coach, built a bunch of businesses. He's in his 70s. He's just an amazing mentor of mine. And he said the shortest course in sales: ask questions and listen. Ask questions and listen. Simple as that. So when we're meeting with a franchise partner who might come into the system, we're asking a lot of questions to find out, what are their dreams? What's the dream they want to live for themselves? Why is starting a business important to them? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And can our strengths and weaknesses complement each other? We're not perfect as a business. We never will be. But do we have the strengths that will support their weaknesses? And so it's asking questions, getting to know someone and what makes them tick. As a sales strategy, asking questions, what does someone really want? And are we the right fit to give them what they're looking for? And I always used to think as a kid, I was never good at sales. And I used to say that to people, I'm not good at selling. And then people started to say, but Brian, you're a storyteller. And you get to know people, you ask questions, you find out if people are interesting and interested, and there's a common connection and shared goal. I'm able to line up and mesh up with people very quickly. People are like, Brian, you're great at selling. To me, selling is finding a match. I think people often think selling is pushing something on someone. It's not. It's finding a mutual match where people go, yes, win, win, win.
No wonder you're successful. You're doing it the right way. You always have, right? From the beginning, right? This is the way, because all people, like you had mentioned earlier, people, I loved what, how you said it, but people are leaving. They're leaving companies today. They're just like, I had it, right? Yeah. And all the research that I've done clearly shows that people don't stay at a job for very long or long duration for money. And now today it's really more about quality of life. So people are looking for that quality of life. Going back to your values about treating people the way you do and making sure it's a right fit. It's a match. It's what, from where are we? October 6th, 2021, a year ago onward, this is the shift. This is the great shift that's happened in the world, not just in the United States, or Canada. It's the world. I'm talking to people all over the world. They're saying the same thing. I want quality of life. I do want money, which is part of it. But I really want that right fit. I want to be in a place where I feel valued. I want to be in a place where I feel I'm contributing and I can, grow within and grow. So if you were going to give any advice, I know we only have a few minutes left, but if you were going to give any advice to anybody, okay, from 2021, October 6, 2021 on, what would be the one thing or two things or three things that they should focus on if they want to build a company like you did from zero and add $500 million at any stage of their business?
Number one, by far, it always drives me, is having a clear vision. What does your future look like for yourself, for your company, for your people? I was, about 8 years into the business, $1 million in revenue. And I know you asked me for a few things, and I know we're tight on time. I'm going to give you the most important thing. So vision. I was at my parents' summer cottage 8 years into my business. I went out on their dock. I was in a bit of a doom loop, feeling like I'm not good enough to build this business. Is this business even good enough as a concept, junk removal, to grow? I took out a sheet of paper, one page, double-sided, and I started to write what the future would look like. Pure possibility. We'll be the top 30 metros in North America, even though we were only in one. We'd be the FedEx of junk removal with clean, shiny trucks and friendly, uniformed drivers. We'd be on the Oprah Winfrey Show. All these big, hairy, audacious goals. But after I wrote this vision, I started sharing it with people. And I said, this is where we're going in 5 years. What do you think? Half the people at some point in the next few weeks left the company and said, I think you're smoking some hope dope. This isn't going to work. The other half said, Brian, this is compelling. It's exciting. I don't know how we're going to get there, but I want to be a part of getting there. So vision, the most important piece of advice I have for anyone, if I'm in any position to give advice, it's have a picture in your mind of what that dream, that future looks, feels, and acts like, because you're not a leader if you don't have followers. People follow big ideas and a vision and a leader that they believe can help get them there. That's what inspires. Inspire with vision, create your painted picture. If anyone wants to learn more about painted picture, just Google Brian Scudamore, painted picture, send me a message on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, but happy to share our painted pictures if anyone wants to ask. A vision's everything.
Thank you so much for that. Wow. Also, I want to plug one thing for you as well. Well, on my behalf, because you wrote a book called WTF, called Willing to Fail, folks. And it is a great book. So I highly recommend people go and read this. I mean, look, you're the North American success story that everybody wants, would like to be, right? They start from zero and they work their way up. And they get a great brand, and they've turned into an incredible human being. Not that they weren't before, but even more incredible, because to me, you take care of your people and you take care of business and take care of the people all throughout. So I really appreciate having you on here. Thank you. Did any question that maybe I should have asked or whatever, or in parting?
I think you asked a lot of great questions, Doug, and we could have talked for hours. And so, maybe we'll have to do this again one day, but I think you asked some great questions, and I'm so excited about the opportunities that exist in the world and this great shift as you talk about. And it's people seizing those opportunities, being WTF, willing to fail, take some risks, but make greatness happen. It's a pretty wonderful world.
Well, in closing, thanks for being here, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Doug. It was awesome.
Hey guys, wasn't that awesome? Right? It's pretty straightforward, pithy, right? And he laid a lot of wisdom on there. I mean, look, selling is the key in your business. Of course, there's all kinds of other things you got to deal with, et cetera. But the reality is you got to keep selling throughout the company history. And they still do that today, right? I mean, they went from zero, took them 8 years to get to $1 million. Now they're at over $500 million in revenue. So selling is so important. And knowing how to sell in a win-win fashion is as important as knowing how to actually even sell. Part of that selling win-win comes from understanding your right fit client, the right fit client. You know what a lot of people call, what's your ideal buyer? What's your ideal client, right? Well, the right fit client really is the ideal buyer. And the reality is you want to refine or define or go back and forth again and constantly understand what that is, because that's where you should be spending your time prospecting, your marketing money. Anything should be on right fit clients, whatever that is for you. So hope you enjoyed this episode of the CEO Sales Strategies podcast. This is Doug C. Brown. If you want any help with your business, please reach out to me. If you want to learn how to sell more, grow your revenues, and you want to improve your profitability in your company, or if you're a seller, selling B2B, and you want to learn how to convert more, grow faster, sell larger accounts, and do it with more ease. In other words, lower the acquisition cost of your client. Reach out to me at Doug Brown 1234 on LinkedIn, or doug@businesssuccessfactors.com, or just give me a call at 603-595-0303. Till next time, this is Doug C. Brown. If you like this episode, please give it a 5-star review. If you have any subject matter that you want covered on the CEO Sales Strategies podcast, please reach out to me at the methods I just gave you, and let me know what you'd like, because this show's here for you folks. All right, until next time, go out and sell some stuff, make a lot of money, and have a happy, happy day in life.